Hello everybody, welcome back to Robot Tech. My name is Scotter715, and of course we have my guest of honor, Beskar Snake. How are you?
Oh, not too bad. Just
Living the dream.
Living the dream. LTD every single day.
Hey, look, it's a way to be positive, alright? Living the dream. It's eventually going to get there at the end. There's the tunnel. You're just in it forever. Today, I'm sorry, things have been crazy. So, we're behind, and I'm sorry, but let's catch up, shall we? Like, what games have you played recently in the last month or so, or last podcast?
Played more Final Fantasy 16. Played some Age of Empires 4. Started a little bit of High on Life.
Nice. How is that? Both of those games.
They are which ones? The
High on Life and Age of Empires.
Age of Empires. I mean, Age of Empires 4, of course, is great. Played it with a buddy, and High on Life is hilarious. Of course, I haven't gotten too far into it, but it definitely it doesn't take itself seriously, and that of course is fun, and some of the jokes are good. Some of it's a little obnoxious, but not not too over the top, if that makes sense. Like, it works for the game.
Yeah.
And that's really cool. That's fun to see. And then, of course, little smatterings of a few games here and there. Oh, I have played a little bit more Disco Elysium.
Mm-hmm.
That game is really fun, really interesting, really kind of not necessarily a unique, like a unique premise, but a really well done and fun game. It's a game that has skill checks in it that almost are fun to lose because it adds a new dimension to the game. But yeah, that's kind of an unusual smattering of different genres and games along the way. How about yourself? What have you played over the last little while?
Yeah, I was gonna say, I saw the game and knew it was creators of Rick and Morty, but I didn't understand I watched New Extra Lifer that followed me play it, Captain Jim. I'll play a little bit of it. It seemed, I don't know. I don't think it's up my alley, but it'd be good. Good for me to watch it. I think it'd be fun to watch. Sorry, what were you saying?
Oh, just what games you've played.
Oh, no. Yeah, Phasmophobia. So there's a new update on Phasmophobia. So basically, we played it yesterday. Me and Unbound, Cursane, and some, I think, KKR. Basically, a lot of people are a little bit upset, but I understand kind of, because everyone was had hundreds of, or thousands of dollars in that game, where you could spend on equipment to do ghost hunting. They reset that to everyone starts again, so the levels are gone. I believe some of the money's there. I don't really understand, because me and Unbound are new, so we have no idea. But so it kind of works for us sake, but a lot of people are really upset about it, because I understand. I was like, well, good thing. But you start off for instance, one of the clues things is to get determine if there's freezing temperatures. Now, back in the old style game, you could see your breath, and that would determine that it's freezing temperatures, and you don't even need a thermometer. But if it's now with the update, if it's snowing outside, sometimes it'll just happen. So I would say a little bit challenging on that way. And then you start off with a thermometer, actual what's it called, mercury kind of thermometer, and then you upgrade to a digital one, and then a higher tier digital one. Or obviously I didn't know, because we're not even there yet, but it seemed more digital or more high tech of terms of like you kind of upgrade. That's kind of cool in a sense, and I understand why they would like reset everyone at 0 because it wouldn't make sense for people to have $800,000 of money and then spend it and upgrade it and they're done. Like then there's no game. But
yeah,
I think that might deter people of like, oh well, what's the point of playing it again when my stuff reset? So I don't know. I'm sure people will come back to it eventually. And
is that going to happen again in the future?
Right.
Should I put all this time in when they're just going to maybe do another update or a wipe or something?
Right. And same thing with 7 Days to Die. I think did that too when we kind of they did an update right before we started playing, and we've been wanting to play 7 Days to Die for a while. And then because we're like, oh, we should just like ask somebody who knows how to play it first, and then we're like, you know what, let's just jump into it. And then, if it's hard, then we'll ask somebody. But like, that was, it seemed pretty easy and pretty understanding of what's going on. And so a lot of people were upset that their bases got wiped and their saves got wiped. But, I mean, it didn't stop. It seemed like Afro Harrison, Salty Pirate, played it again and they liked it back to... It seemed like they enjoyed it again, so...
Yeah.
Anyways, Dead by Daylight, Sea of Thieves again. Tabletop weekend just passed, so we played Uno, Played Up. Played Up had a birthday celebration because it was their anniversary, so you can make cupcakes, and they had happy birthday. It was really kind of fun, actually. Sorry to... Quick back, I don't know if I mentioned this on the podcast or not, but I did subscribe to Trackmania. I think I mentioned it, but regardless, I'm getting to a point. So, with that subscription, I bought the highest tier, because of course I did, because I was like, you know what, let's do it. Let's go all in. So, anyways, there's a new, season where, or this new kind of game, I guess, thing where it's called Khaki, where...
Okay, I saw you post about that, but I didn't get a chance to look.
I know not a lot of people who may have not played Trackmania know what it's about, so basically Khaki is pretty... basically you gotta hit an object and fling your car into the air 20 million feet and get to a finish. I'd suggest looking into it. It's a little bit hard to explain, but basically hitting something or doing hitting an object to make your car do a trick, fly in the air, or a bug in the game to make it go yeet and fly into the finish. It's very chance based and very lucky, but there's a map that seemed pretty simple. There's some maps this Khaki season that a little bit easy. I mean, the guy who I watched said this season's kind of difficult, but there's a few, of course, still a few tracks that are easy. And I was just like, you know what? If I at least get one, I'm happy. And I finally got one at 3 a.m. I'm like, oh. And then even I was with Unbounded, and I was like, you know what? So there's track of the day, which pretty much you could play. You try to get your best time, and then you compete against your time frame of say 60 people. Okay. So if you and me get 18 seconds on a track, it would play differently than people who get 10 seconds on a track. So they're all competing against each other on the time. So I did that. I was like, oh. And there's usually a troll cup of the day, which is similar to Khaki. They have silly tracks, you don't see the floor, or you just bounce and get lucky to So anyways, I was like, oh, there's troll cup of day, because it's always the first day of the year. And then basically I was like, oh, I kind of want to stay up late because we streaming and stuff. So I was like, oh, I'll wait till the 4 a.m. track to do that. So it's only 3 times a day with the same track. So I was like, I'll try to play around and see what happens. And then I was like, I'll do khaki in the meantime. And then sure enough, I finished. I was like, nope, I'm not doing Trek of the Day. We're done. We're good here. So anyways, long story short, but I know none of that made sense. But just, look, appreciate it. Be proud of me, right?
So basically what you're saying is everyone should go to twitch.tv/Scatter715 and just watch.
I don't stream
stuff.
it. I should have recorded it.
Everybody needs to get to you and force you to play it.
I should have like recorded it or something, but man, because I was kicking myself. But I'm like, at least got a screenshot. I'm happy. I'm like, I'm good. I'm posting this. I know nobody would understand, but I'm posting it, and like everyone appreciate it. So, anyways, long story short, but is fun, and I think, did I talk about unpacking? We played unpacking too.
You didn't mention it this stream.
I mean, like last podcast, but yeah, we played it. We finished. I don't think so, but unpacking's good. So. It's a cute game. It's a little story, and yeah, kind of relaxing. I wouldn't recommend streaming it. Maybe like first time streaming it, but we definitely, when we streamed it, we'll play it offline next time. But because this is like very just clicking, and it's kind of like a relaxing game. I believe it's eventually going to be on. I think it should be already. Might be already on, but if not, going to be on like Switch and like your phone and stuff. So at least it's like a chill, do stuff game.
Is that the one where you're kind of like organizing stuff?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, yes.
Yeah. So it's fun. It's a good game. I'd recommend picking it up if you haven't. But maybe a one-time thing for some people. But
sometimes you need those one-off games.
Yeah, it's just a
just a good experience, and then
it's just a relaxing, chill, vibey game. And then, sorry, real quick, I'm sorry. Look, I'm blabbling a lot. I'll get you a chance, I promise. Basically, Don't Starve Together has teamed up with Cult of the Lamb. So, they, in, I think, both of the games that have stuff in each other's games. So, if you play Don't Starve, you'll have some Cult of the Lamb, like, cosmetics. I think. I haven't really looked much into it, but I'm like, well, I guess I'm getting Cult of the Lamb, aren't I? I was like, they got me pretty good. So I'm pretty excited about it, and it seems like a lot of fun. I still don't really understand the game, so I'm sure once I play it, it'll be fun. Sorry, I'm blabbering. We played Mario Party and Monopoly as well, and that was ridiculously long. I would not recommend Monopoly ever. It was like a 6-hour Monopoly game, and Unbounded won.
Hey, that's a short Monopoly game.
Yeah, right. I mean, technically Unbounded could have won like easily, but she I think she like made the, like she could have bought more hotels and hotels and houses, but I think she didn't want to prolong the game because it would have been like only a 2-hour stream. So I was like, because I played poorly. It was just poor. Anyways, I'm sorry. How are you? What's new?
No.
Did you get the dice thing?
I did
Nice.
Actually.
Nice. And if you don't know what we're talking about Extra Life. You could get great stuff if you raise enough money, if you're platinum. So, anyways.
It's upstairs. I should have grabbed it.
It's okay. Anyways, sorry, I'm blabbing. So let's get to the podcast and what we want to. Yeah, we're just blabbering, honestly. I mean, that's basically what a podcast is. So we're doing a good job. We're doing great. We're on track. So if you're new here, this is a terrible introduction because we're like 15 minutes in, and we're just talking about video games and video game topics. So I thought it'd be a good idea to finally talk about. So as I mentioned, we've been doing this for quite some time with me and Beskar Snake and some great guests. And soon, hopefully, another guest might come back, but who knows? I just wanted a podcast where we just talk about what we learned, like what we're looking forward to, and stuff like that. With like the guests we've talked to, the experiences of what we heard from each other. Because I feel like Beskar Snake, we really weren't like. I feel like we were close in a way, but now like I'm recording with you every month, and now you're like stuck with me. This is your life. So
I'm kind of like a tick. You just can't really get rid of it.
Yeah, I mean, same goes.
You can break off the body, but I'm still there.
So I'd say same goes to you. So like we kind of started this. I started this with Beskar Snake about a year and a half ago, and I actually recorded with numerous extra lifers and other guests, and I was like, you know what, Beskar Snake. So we came into this podcast really not knowing much of each other in a way, and I feel like I know everything about you. I know where you live. I know everything about you. I'm just kidding.
I don't live anywhere.
I don't live. I just
all of this is facade.
It's just a blob. But so anyways, I just kind of wanted to like do a year and a half of a review of like what we learned. I want to say it's almost 2 years, but basically
I feel like it's been longer.
It's
but
been
I'm also
so
thinking
long.
of when you had me as a guest originally,
Mm-hmm.
and then it just going. So yeah, I mean it's been a while. We've known each other for at least 2 weeks now.
Yeah, something like that. Like just like
there,
2
like
seconds.
2-3 weeks.
Yeah, we never met each other. We never
just met this guy for first recording.
Just
here.
talked about. Yeah, I'm just gonna look real quick how long ago that was. But yeah, so I just kind of wanted to do like what we learned, like what have we experienced with this podcast. So if you want to start, actually 4 years ago was the podcast with you, according to my YouTube.
Yeah, that's
seems ridiculous.
About right. That's
so about roughly 4 years.
Let me tell you, it feels like nothing.
It drags on. So if you want to start, or if you want me to start, that's cool.
I mean, I feel like with this one, we could maybe kind of go back and forth some rather than
it's good.
Shake up the format a little bit.
Yeah, keep everyone's on their toes.
I think one of the biggest things for me is I've always enjoyed indie games. But a lot of them flew under my radar, and I know they've gotten more popular over the years. Obviously, you've gotten more and more indie developers that are able to break out and make these great games, and make these games that rival some of the big budget games. But I think in doing this podcast, obviously you're a big indie game fan, and it has brought a lot of those games to my attention more so, and made me look at them maybe a little more often. Like I said, I've always enjoyed indie games. There have been plenty of indie games that I played before I knew you, before they've gotten really big, but not nearly as many as I have since the beginning of us recording. So I do appreciate that aspect, because I love big budget AAA titles. I mean, obviously, listen to the games I played this last month. Final Fantasy 16, obviously being a big one. That's not an indie developer. That's not a just go along. Age of Empires. That's not some little studio where there's 2 people sitting in a garage coding for 16 hours a day. Those are huge teams of things. But there have been a lot of those other smaller titles that, I mean, one of the first ones that comes to mind is one that you mentioned now, Don't Starve. I mean, I first played Don't Starve.
I think it was with me. Well,
actually,
it was with I think Zach, right?
We did. I think we did do a little bit of it, but the first time I ever experienced it is it was given away for free as a PlayStation Plus game.
Yeah.
And I went, yeah, we'll check it out. And long before I was streaming with any regularity, I'd be over to a buddy's house, and a couple of us would just take turns playing, day by day or something. Long before before there was Don't Starve Together and stuff like that, we were just playing single player, but we were just testing things out, seeing what we could learn, seeing what we could hit with a stick and survive. Usually failing there because we'd hit a lot of stupid stuff with sticks. And just, hey, what can we piss off today? And it was a whole lot of fun, and that game is still a lot of fun, but it's only grown over time. And obviously you have Don't Starve Together, you have a collaboration with Cult of the Lamb, which I'm sorry, I don't remember who makes Cult of the Lamb, but
yeah, I think they're a separate company.
Devolver Digital. A lot of amazing games from them. I've watched some Cult of the Lamb. It's on my wish list. I haven't gotten around to it. They've had some sales on it. I almost picked it up. I didn't. And one of these times I'll get it, because it does. I'm on the Steam page, and they have the Cult of the Lamb crossover with Don't Starve Together playing, and it just looks incredible.
Yeah.
But to have two of those developers, again, they're both relatively small publishers that have obviously gotten bigger and bigger over time. But Devolver Digital has so many great games. Clay has so many great games, and they're only getting bigger, better, more involved and just growing, but they're still very much keeping that small developer feel. They're not bridging over into the, okay, we're gonna make a $250 million game. We're gonna do what we do best in making these really good, fun experiences, that you might not always be able to get with the annual release of insert big AAA title here. So yeah, kind of to summarize that point, like I said, just being more opened to indie games because of games you've talked about, your passion for indie games, your passion for kind of finding those small developers that don't have the biggest foothold, but they've still got a grip on it, and they're still moving forward and moving along, and that's been a whole lot of fun, of course.
You're welcome. No, just kidding. No, yeah, definitely. I mean, even you explored me to the indie games too that you talked about a long time ago, and it's still on my wish list. Grand Theft Horse, or I think it's actually called something else.
I actually finally, it was on super sale for on PlayStation. I can't. Sorry, go ahead. I'll look it up while I'm.
But that game, it's still on my wish list, and I still want to play it, and it seems so fun. I mean, yeah, there's stuff like that, and I think just even that, I'm gonna apologize this in advance, so I'm gonna say sorry. You introduced me to more retro games. I will say, Metal Gear Solid. I still need to play it. I was mentioning this to Unbounded that I was gonna say every Saturday or Sunday I was gonna stream or just play and call it Solid Snake Saturdays or Sundays. Solid Snakes. Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome.
It has to happen. Plus, don't forget, running out of time. I think we're
yeah. I got a speed run this. If only I knew some speedrunners. Huh? I made this joke before, but
there's some back there.
Yeah.
Really quick, not to interrupt too much, but Grand Theft Auto is called Rustler.
Rustler, yes. I'm looking.
I can never remember the name.
I never do.
Fun.
It's actually still in parentheses. It says Grand Theft Auto. It's on sale as we speak, $7. So. Even you have introduced me to indie games or stuff that you've played. I think at a time you were playing some modern, some shooting games, and I can't think of them off the top of my head, but like it kind of like I've been watching recently some streamers of like Modern Warfare, and that seems like it looks stunning, well done. I mean, I'm sure it's like any other shooting war game that it's broken, but $3 of Dead by Daylight. Sorry, I'm looking at sales now. Look what you've done. I think still like having that like exploration, and like as I just mentioned before I even talked, like I was like I don't like I'm thinking about this now. Like I invited you to this thing, not even like talking to you. Like I mean, we popped into each other's streams, but like I was like, hey, so why don't you? I was just like, I know Beskar Snake does have a little thing for games that I don't play, and yeah, I could get like anyone else to play, like talk about indie games with me, but I think that would at a certain point get to like we're just talking about indie games where we're not exploring, collaborating with like different things that we might have interest in. So like you literally making me play Metal Gear Solid, and and I would never.
You're welcome.
I would never play that game ever. Yeah. Like if and then even you with your passion with Star Wars, I mean I would love to get back into. I'll definitely I think we talked about this before. About Star Wars and like the games that they. I mean, to be honest to you, like I feel like Star Wars hasn't really attracted me lately yet. I haven't played since I was in elementary school, or I was like with I think it was one of the you just like fly around and do stuff like. That's what I want.
Jedi Starfighter or
Rogue
Squadron.
Yeah, the Rogue one, I think.
A couple of those. TIE Fighter.
Yeah.
Some of the best Star Wars flight games ever made.
Yeah, I just want more flighting. I just want to fly planes. And none
Star
of
Wars Squadrons. You can play that one. That's
I'm gonna look it up now, but it's. Rogue Squadron. That's the one I played on the 64.
That's a staple of the 64 era and everything that a lot of people still talk about today.
Dude, if there's a similar game that like that now, I'd probably play. I'm sure you could attest to it, but that there is one, but none of it. I think like none of the Star Wars, but like you talking about it, like be like, you know what? I did like Star Wars Rogue Squadron when I was a kid. I played that a lot, and I really wanted to beat that game, and maybe I'll come back to it eventually to finally beat it because I still have. I think my brother has the 64, but eventually I do want to play it again. And what do you suggest? What game should I play that's similar to that? That's a new Star Wars.
I would say Star Wars just Squadrons. It's the latest like flight simulator type game.
Oh, you could actually play Rogue Squadron 3D on Steam.
Yep, I see Rogue Squadron. But yeah, Star Wars Squadrons. That one came out. It came out a few years ago now. Yeah, 2020, and that one it's the one that I've played a little bit of, but when I was originally going to play it, I was toying with the idea of getting a VR, and that one seems like one that would be really fun to play in VR.
Oh my god!
I'm not sure if I'm ever going to get VR or not, or anytime soon. So I might go back and finally just play it. But yeah, that's one that I've heard. I've watched some people play some of it. I didn't want to, spoil too much of it. Too much of it.
I'll add it to the wish list right now.
Yeah,
Star Wars Squadrons. It looks fun.
That one goes on sale a decent amount.
Oh, it's a mixed review. Oh no, it always makes me nervous when Steam has mixed reviews on something.
Well,
Well, it's EA, I get it. No, just kidding.
One of the not recommended ones is the game is just a sandbox for PvP combat with a small, campaign. I mean, yeah, of course you want, a campaign in that, but also
to be fair,
you just want.
I don't think really. I don't think the one. The 64 Squadrons, Nintendo 64 Squadron was any different. I don't think there really wasn't any storyline. I mean, there was a little bit, but it was just like, we gotta save the people. And it was like, there's a giant claw thing. I can't think of it.
You're a pilot. What more do you want? You just want to fly around, shoot things, blow stuff up, and fly fast.
Right, and that's your job. Like, do you care what the objective? I mean, obviously this is objective and stuff, but why? Yeah. Do you need to know the story of Anakin needs you to fly into this? No. Why do you care? It's just no. You need to fly there. Go.
Tell me the story of Star Fox.
All right.
One of the best flying games ever made. Okay, Andros is being a jerk. Go stop him. That's all I need. Let me just fly.
All right, let me just fly. Yeah. So
let me shoot missiles.
You had me to add a Star Wars game to my wish list. Way to go! But you did it.
If I can just get you to add the Metal Gear Solid Master Collection, boom,
we're good.
My job here is
we're done. So the long-term con of being a co-host on this podcast here, I think included with our guests too. I'd say we all have, I'd say Unbound has similar, obviously, taste than I do, but KKR has another different. He has a whole different skew of what he plays. He plays Monster Hunter Rise. He plays all this other stuff that I would never even think to play. I'm this is the MMO or action RPGs. I mean, you're probably similar to KKR in a way, but
yeah,
not entirely, because I don't think you would play Monster Hunter Rise.
I've tried to get into Monster Hunter. It's not my thing. It's not one of those games where I'm like, I can't believe somebody would ever play this. It's just not for me. It's just not my kind of style.
So even having KKR on is new to you too, and
a new perspective, and even to have a new perspective on similar games.
Right.
Like I said, you and I, we do like indie games, but we obviously have some different taste in indie games. So that's going to help to add different perspectives and different. It's not just going to be we're going to talk about XYZ. The whole time, every single time, because you're going to have a different perspective. I'm going to have a different perspective, and obviously that just helps move conversation along.
Yeah. And I just love, man. I would say this podcast also made me invest my time into researching new. Well, I'd say I need to do better at that of researching things, but it's just there's so many things going. There's a post every day about video games. There's literally a post every day. But for instance, I didn't know about wholesome games. They announce stuff pretty much. They're kind of like a EA or a game announcement for indie games, but they're very quirky and cute, adorable games that they talk. I'm looking at my list right now. Station to Station, they announce Gordlets. So these quirky little indie games. Every time that wholesome game streams, I watch, because I'm this is me. This is exactly what I'm looking for in these games. So in a way, this makes me explore a little bit more, explore these game announcements every year, and I look forward to the wholesome games announcements every time, because it's my version of the EA or gaming. I can't even think about what it's called, but the EA announcements or Wii Switch announcements, even the Switch announcements, I enjoy, because they have similar quirky, cute games that they announce that I really like. I like to look into. So that's another thing is like, this makes me like, oh yeah, I need to watch that so I could talk about it in the podcast. Because I love indie, and I would have never watched that. I mean, I probably would have, but it's more of a fact I could watch it now, so I could talk about it. Versus I'll only watch it to find games, but it really helped me out to also get the vibe of like how they announce stuff, and like it's really fun. It's a fun time.
Always good to hear new game announcements.
Oh yeah,
see new stuff that gets you interested. I don't want to say interested again, but even more interested in gaming.
Mm-hmm.
You know, yeah, you can churn out the same sports titles every year. You can churn out the same shooters every year. You can churn out this exact same action games. But when those games come along and you go, I don't think I've ever seen that before.
Right.
You know, that's just that much more exciting.
Right. Especially like this game Station to Station. It just seems very like Lego type and like blocky, and like it's like a great vibe. It's like, wow, that's kind of quirky and cool. Like, and there's a free demo. Like,
yeah,
like
yeah.
you can't get
about that game. I was just looking at it again, and I went, "Oh yeah, I forgot. That looks really fun."
And Gordlets, it also looks like free download. Free download the demo. Like, what year? I love it. Like it's so fun to just play demos, to just really to experience. Like, you know what? Can I try that? I mean, you know, Steam has that policy now. Oh, actually, we did that recently. We played, I think, what is it called? Project Zomboid. We bought it, and we played it on our own, and it was just so challenging to start off, and we're like, you know what? We're going to return this, and like, luckily, Steam has that ability to refund games, but like, it is kind of, in a way, annoying, because it's like, well, now I have $30 I mean, not that I won't not spend $30 on a Steam game, but it's more the fact that, like, well, now I kind of have to spend this kind of money, like,
yeah,
nah, like, that wasn't my goal, so that's why I like demos. It's free, it's fun. You know what else is free? Actually, sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
Sorry.
You're dang right.
So, yeah. What have you ever thought, like, before to, like, you would ever want to, like, ever thought about this podcast? Like, you're like, you know, Scotter is a weird dude, and I mean, you already knew that. But, like, you ever thought, like, oh, now this is a thing I'm into, or, like, podcasting and...
Absolutely. I mean,
you could tell the truth. It's fine. You don't have to lie.
Oh, thank goodness. Okay, well, if we're being completely honest, absolutely.
I want to get off now, please.
Could you just take your headphones off real quick so I can boot in here? No, it is something I look forward to. It is something that, you know, I've been gaming for a very long time. You know,
you're not that old. Come on.
You know, I've been gaming for many years now, and I still have that excitement. I still have that interest. I still have that draw to, you know, see what new games are announced, see what new games are coming out. You know, find that new game that, oh man, that just really scratches that itch for what I wanted to play or what I wanted to do, or, you know, what I want to experience. But one thing, you know, another thing that I've kind of experienced along the way that's given an interest is I've never set gaming goals, you know, at least actively.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, of course I've been like, okay, I want to beat this game, or okay, I'd like to play this game this year or something. But last year, our gaming goals, I made it a goal to beat at least one game every month, and I did that. I accomplished that, and that was pretty cool. I made a goal to get 3 platinums, and I got at least 3 platinums. I think I got a 4th platinum. I can't remember if I got that in January of this year or if I got 4 last year. but it helped me to, because I know I've mentioned it before, but I have almost a very short attention span with games, because I'll try to get through a game as fast as possible because new shiny game, new shiny game, just all these. I mean, as with any gamer, my backlog is far too massive.
As everyone else's.
But in being able to look forward to this podcast and go, okay, I want to set out to beat this game or these games or get this achievement, get this accomplishment along the way, so that way I've got something else to add to the podcast. And that has really made it interesting to want to keep pushing forward, to go, okay, cool, I get to look forward to this next month because I get to talk about this. I don't create YouTube videos. I stream, on Twitch, and that's about it. I don't do like reaction videos or streams and stuff like that. But this podcast gave me the opportunity to freak out when Metal Gear Solid was coming back. When the Metal Gear Solid 3 remake was announced, when the Master Collection Volume 1 was announced, and it gave me that avenue where I went,
let's talk about this.
I get to just, Scouter can just sit back, take a nap if he wants, but I get a chance to just unload this excitement that I've waited this long to have that.
Yeah.
And, it adds that fun, interesting anticipation for the podcast, or even just having guests on.
Oh, yeah.
No matter who it is, whether it's somebody that I've talked to many times or somebody I've never talked to before, that's something else interesting in being able to, hey, I normally wouldn't.
Did we seriously have
conversations?
Right? Did we seriously have a game developer on it? It still baffles me too. Like,
100%.
I just never thought I just I'm gonna say, like, have the courage to, like, DM somebody, some random developer that doesn't probably even know I exist. Like, hey, want to be on the podcast? Sure. What? What is this?
I'm sorry to hear that, but thank you for... Wait, did you say yes?
Wait. Sorry that you don't want to be on this, but no, and it's really cool, and I'm kind of excited that people do want to come back. It makes me happy that, and I'm sorry to put words in your mouth, but I assume it makes you happy to be like, you know what, I could get to an avenue to, besides streaming and YouTube and content, to blab on this again. Like, I'm sure you talk about these games already on your streams and stuff, but like, now I have a recording of this. I could refer to it to like, so like I even get excited that like, oh, Gary, Zach Fierce wants to be on it again. Like, wait, what? Like, why? What did we do that, like, what? Okay, sure, I'm not gonna say no. Like, I usually, of course, reach out to people versus the other way around. But even, KKR, who was here a couple months ago, invited him to be back again but I was like, yeah, no, you know what, we need some topics to talk about, come on board. So, and I love the comments. I know most of them are our friends and stuff, but it's good to like hear.
Hey, our friends are cool.
Yeah, so. That's true. and I feel excited to like record this, and to know like even my friend who made the cover art, who's in like UK, she actually had a like Spotify recommendation, Robot Attack, and she's like, it's eerie to see one art I made on Spotify, and I'm like, you're welcome. Like, I was really happy to like, wow, okay, this is actually on the other side of the world. I never thought I'd see the day. Like, I know it's an investment in a way. Like, I'm spending my own, like, we don't get any money from this. This is just a hobby, but I'm willing to spend $12 just to get it on there, just so I could say, like, my worthwhile is worth, like, our worthwhile is somewhere, is on there, and people can want to enjoy it, and they can enjoy it if they wanted to. Great segue, by the way. You should check us out on Spotify. Just putting on. So, like, you know, besides putting this on YouTube and posting this, it's another great avenue of, well, not everyone likes YouTube, and you can't really do YouTube while you're driving. That's not really safe. So, getting, like, and, like, learning every time I record this podcast, we have numerous mistakes, and I'll tell you how many times we re-recorded something. So, like, you know, this is one of them. No, I'm not. But,
wait, I was supposed to hit record?
Right.
Ah, shoot.
Yeah, so, you know, even, like, they have Spotify learning classes now, so it's like, now I'm learning a little bit more about, how I can expand for, you know, do this a little bit more in depth.
No.
Even just, like, this overlay. We got, I don't know if you've seen it, Beskar Snake, but we have a new overlay. It looks
slick.
Unbounded made this, and it's cleaner and doesn't look like someone just chopped something in half, like me, and put it on. So this is great, and I love it. So, you know, just like learning different things, and I think what you're getting to, too, is just trying out different things, trying out games you might not know that you never thought you'd play, or just, like, you know, if you're indifferent about it, like, I'm not sure about Grand Fifth Horse, you know, I'm gonna watch it first. I mean, it's on my wish list, and then, you know, if I see someone playing it, I'll watch it. But like, I think you mentioned, for instance, like Company of Heroes 3. I think you were the one who told me about this. I never seen it. I never. But is this? You told me about this, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I have not played 3, but I love Company of Heroes 2. I loved the first one.
No, I think somebody else told. I think I've watched it, but regardless, like,
I know I've mentioned it. I've talked about it. I may not have been the one to introduce it to you, but yeah, no. Oh, man, I want that game so bad. Anyway,
you're welcome.
Yeah, those games are so good.
Yeah, so you know, trying out different things, learning. Because as we mentioned before, I think, like, us having somewhat similar overlapping of, like, games that we like kind of work out really nicely. So that's what I like about this. You never thought you'd see the day that you play Bioshock Infinite, right?
Technically, I haven't played it yet.
Huh? Why is that?
Because I can't talk about it yet.
Yeah, that's true. I'm sorry. I will play it. We got Monday off, so I could look. I at least beat the boss of Metal Gear. Is such a tough game. It's such a tough game.
It is a tough game.
So it makes me not want to play it. So I'm sorry. I'm trying. But no, just like experiencing again. No offense. These retro games again. To, like, we're talking about Rogue, Star Wars Rogue, like, now that I mentioned it, I'm like, no, now I want to play it again. And now the new updated version that you just mentioned, like, if you weren't here to tell me about it, I probably wouldn't have never play it again, so.
Yeah.
Anything else? I think just, what are you thinking about the future? Like, where do you see this in the future? Do you see yourself hating me eventually and just, like, screw this guy? I'm never going to talk to...
Oh.
Well, you already too late, buddy.
No, I'm thinking, live on location podcast, at, Tokyo Game Show and the Game Awards.
We're flying everywhere. I wish.
We're flying to Tokyo for their shows. We're flying out to, all of the... no, I mean, I like the setup that we have. I like the kind of laid back feel. Obviously there are some ideas that we haven't even thought of yet. And those excite me. Obviously I don't know what they are yet, but the thought that, hey, you know what? This again, maybe some other challenge in the future. Once we talk about this other one, I've got, maybe another idea or two of ways we can experience games that maybe we never thought we would, or something like that, along those lines. But so things like that, I think that's sort of where I see the podcast heading to, of just kind of exploring those potential avenues of new games that we maybe a genre that we didn't think we would ever revisit or that we'd ever get into or something. And you know what? Maybe we'll find something that we both interest us that we never thought we would ever play. Or there's going to be some gaming news that comes along and we go, I never thought of something like that before.
Right.
I'm really interested in that because we talked about it, and then we both experience it, and then we talk about it again after we've experienced that, that game, that event, whatever it is. So no, I mean, I'm like I said, I'm still excited to move forward. I'm still excited to pursue this podcast, to pursue new ideas, to talk about games, even if we're just rambling on about Resident Evil, Metal Gear Solid, Final Fantasy, Mega Man.
We do that anyways.
and Don't Starve, Track Me, those things.
God, it's ridiculous how many... this is going to turn into a Trackmania podcast. I'm just putting that... I play so much of it again. Like, oh, God, it's ridiculous. Sorry to interrupt, but...
No, you're good. I mean, that's... But that's about it. Yeah, kind of summing up, just experiencing a lot more of the indie game market, and also just having sort of a different perspective on games of, what? A lot of times I play a game, I enjoy it, I move on. Mm-hmm. Whereas this podcast, I get to play a game, enjoy it, then talk about it a little bit. Like, I know I was really excited, the other month when I talked about Bat Boy.
Yeah.
Really fun game. I got the platinum trophy in it.
Yeah.
It's a game that, it's not a AAA developer. It's not a, just your average, okay, they're going to make a new one every single year. You've played the game 1,000 times. You know that you're going to get the same thing each time. That was made by X Plus Co. Limited. I had never heard, actively heard of them before. On Steam they have 5 games. Oh, and even one of those. Oh yeah, one of those is a soundtrack, and one of them is a demo. So they have 4 games on there. Never heard of them before. I love Bat Boy. That game is really fun. I want to eventually possibly speedrun that game, or learn to speedrun that game, because I had a blast with it. Mm-hmm. Gravity Circuit is another one that, not necessarily because of the podcast, but with the podcast, I get to play a game that I really like, and then go, hey, you know what? Instead of just playing this and writing it as a one-off, I get to go back and talk about it. And that one's also another one that is super fun. That one's made by PID Games.
Never heard of that
again,
either.
On their Steam list, they have a longer list of games, but I don't think I've ever heard of them before I played, Gravity Circuit. And heck, I want to go back and look at some of the other games because of how well they made Gravity Circuit and how fun that game is. So yeah, just the ability, like I said, to kind of re-experience those games that I already enjoyed once, but now I get to have a reason to talk about them and go back to them. Yeah, I've had a lot of fun so far, and I look forward to future podcasts and future events that we're going to experience.
Well, good, because you're here. Remember, you're here forever. Imagine the Burns thing.
Hang on, sorry, Scudder, did I say all that right? Was there anything more I needed to say?
I'll send the check later. Send it. We'll look for it in the mailbox. I mean, yeah. No, I appreciate that. That makes me happy. Same thing. I would say, look forward to... I really need to get back to the goals and stuff. I think those were a good challenge and lots of fun, and get back to the wheel of horror. Just to clean up the backlog, and like I mentioned, like you mentioning like those sports games, like I'm like, oh yeah, I used to play sport video games, and like I was just remembering the Backyard series, Backyard Baseball, Backyard Soccer, and I'm like, crap, I gotta play it again. Like I still have the original, some of the original CDs. I still have them. I could play them. Like, and I literally every year I talk to Humanities Arts, I think it's called, the people who made Backyard series. They Humanities Arts, that's it, I think. But they made Freddy Fish. They're like very elementary school kid video games, but like the Backyard series, I'd say is a little bit older generation. I'd say they're 12 or 13. I love those games, and now like playing it as an old adult and like just dominating and steamrolling it, and I'm like, yeah, it's nice. It's even the Freddy Fish series. I never beat that game when I was younger because I never figured it out. But like playing it as an old Freddy Fish 3, The Curse of the Stolen Conch Shell. I finally beat it. 20 years in the making. But, stuff like that of like these retro... You got me back into the retro side of video game. Well, let's say retro for me. Somewhat recent for you. I'm sorry. I'm like beating you up. Check out Beskar Snake. He's a great guy. I'm sorry. Look, I'm sorry. But, no, just like SimCity 2000, or SimCity 2000, another one. It's just getting me back to like the old games that really got me into the video games. Like, if it wasn't for those games, I probably wouldn't enjoy video games. Like, and as silly as those are, like Freddy Fish and the Stolen Conch Shell, but I remember playing it a lot, and I never beaten it because I just never finished it. And anyways, but yeah, I'm looking forward to maybe new co-hosts. Not co-hosts. I'm replacing you. It's Beskar Snake. New guests.
Finally,
I'm off the hook. New guests are returning guests. Hopefully again.
Yes.
They keep wanting to come back when I ask them to, and and new being creative, like new ideas that we could talk about on the podcast. And I appreciate like any feedback or things that you want us to talk about, because man, eventually we'll run out of things. So
it's years in the future.
Yeah. Well, at one point we'll turn this into, and that's we play a game and we finish it and we talk about it, and we're stuck out to do that because Scouter doesn't finish games. We'll do that. So hopefully shortly, but yeah, I'm gonna play it. I promise. And we're gonna
Metal Gear Monday and Solid Snake Saturday.
Yeah. Exactly. So I don't think anything else. Appreciate.
I think that sums it up.
Really, just appreciate like the years that me and Beskar Snake has been doing it, and all of our guests, because like this wouldn't have happened. Like I'm sure I could talk to myself for an hour and every month, but eventually it just would get boring. So hands off to this guy too, because he's basically the blood and bones to this podcast, and I'm just the guy who sets it up.
That's false.
So if you can, please do so. Check out Beskar Snake on Twitter and Twitch. Great streamer, friend of mine, and he's stuck with this forever. Be buckle up, everyone. It's gonna be a wild ride. And really, if you want to, please comment what like podcasts you like, or what things you learned, or what things you want this podcast ahead. I'd like to hear those comments below on YouTube. You can check us out on YouTube, youtube.com/Scouter15. And we're on Spotify, or you could just DM me or Beskar Snake. I'm sorry to invite DMs to you, but you could DM him too. I'm sure to tell him like some feedback as well of what.
Let me know what you want to see.
And he'll relay it to me.
What you don't like.
They don't like the Scouter guy. Get rid of him.
They don't like either one of us.
Yeah.
Get two new hosts.
Just talk about a new robot attack. But yeah, let us know what you'd like to see. Any things that you want us to highlight on in the future topics, we'd love to hear them.
Yes.
We read comments and we talk about them all the time, so please do so. If there's a lot, we won't cover everything, but if you do have something, yeah. But yeah, thanks for watching, listening, and we'll see you shortly. See you soon.
Thanks for being here, everybody.
Yeah, goodbye.
Bye.